Ananya, today's session is going to be very, very special because over the years of, teaching and training experience that I have had, I've seen people committing the same kind of mistakes over and over again without even realizing. So today I thought, why not come up with a session where I summarize some of the most common mistakes in English language that can easily be avoided if we are a little more attentive and we think about all those things. So, without further ado, let's begin with an activity with you. So, are you ready?
Yes, coach.
So that's great. Okay, Ananya. So if I tell you to, introduce yourself in a single sentence, so could you show our learners how exactly would you do that?
Okay. I'm just going to take myself back 4 years because that is what I used to do back then. So,
Okay.
because I'm kind of getting the mistake that you're going to point out. So I used to say
Okay.
this.
All right. All
Uh,
right. Very proactive, huh?
okay. So I used to say, "Hi, myself Ananya, and I'm from Delhi." Maybe just in a single line.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Nanya, this is one mistake a lot of people do all the time. And when it comes to our introduction, it comes to introducing ourselves, we should rather say, I am Ananya, I am Gungeet, or my name is Ananya, my name is Gungeet, rather than saying myself.
Right.
Myself, you see, it's a reflexive pronoun and this is not supposed to be used in the introduction. So next time you introduce yourself, guys, make sure you're not making the same mistake. Okay.
Right. And I think with this, I'm just getting more curious because I know we make these mistakes almost on a daily basis. So I'm just waiting for more examples and more activities, coach.
Yes, yes, absolutely. In fact, incorrect use of English, I would say it is something that can ruin our impression in front of other people and sometimes also embarrass us. So we should always consciously try to learn and improve our English to avoid all these, situations in
Right.
our life. In fact, let me tell you about one such mistake that I've seen a lot of people doing. That is when they want to agree to someone, they say, I am agree rather than saying I agree. You would see this a lot, especially in beginner level learners. Okay.
Right. Right.
But guys, next time, if you see someone or you are rather making this mistake, always remember it is not I am agree that a lot of us use. Rather than that, we should say I agree.
Right.
Because on one hand, whereas it's very important to show our presence in meetings and discussions at our office, at the same time, if we make these grammatical mistakes, it can have a very bad impression on our listeners and other people. Don't you agree?
Yes, coach, definitely. And I think with the pandemic and everything going online right now, even a few of my friends, what they do every day, all day long, is that they talk through, emails or drop a message on WhatsApp as well. So even though everything is going virtual right now, we still kind of make these same mistakes. And even though when we're talking to a friend, it's a mistake that can be ignored, but in the professional setting, when we do this mistake, this could definitely be very embarrassing. And if I'm not wrong, it also shows a little bit of an unprofessional behavior, right?
Absolutely, Ananya. I see where you are getting it from. I've seen a lot of people making these mistakes when it comes to written communication that we are involving ourselves in. Rather, we are forced to involve ourselves in because of the pandemic, because of work from home. We have to do a lot of written communication through WhatsApp messages in the groups or in the emails, right? So at that point of time, it becomes very important to take care of our grammar. right? So I'll give you a simple example. When we are writing a message in the WhatsApp group, or having a written conversation with our team members or our employers, we can't see their body language, we cannot hear their tone, we cannot see their expression, so it's hard to understand how exactly the person was trying to communicate something. So we should always make an effort to look more polite and professional while communicating. Also, a simple tip that you can always avoid, that you can always follow is, use please, right? So
Okay.
instead of sending a message to your colleague or your, employee saying, send me the report, we can try to be a little more polite by saying, please send me the report. Or could you please send me the report by 5 o'clock in the evening today? So with this, we are changing the way people perceive us, and we are making our conversations very, very positive and impactful, at the same time assertive, by adding on that, timeline or call to action, 5 o'clock. Okay. And we are not being rude at the same time. So people would want to follow our instructions when we do that, isn't it?
Right, right. And I guess with that, we're even giving them a time limit. So, dropping a message that could you please send this report by 5 o'clock in the evening, we're giving them the liberty of, the whole day and not even coming off as rude. So I guess even like when we talk on WhatsApp, this could be, taken into account, because I think everybody is right now talking through WhatsApp messages to their colleagues. I know I, for one, am doing this. So even, I think if you have to say, wait, I'll just do this. We could say, could you please wait? And I can do
Yes,
this later.
exactly. Yeah,
Right, right.
absolutely.
I think that
Yeah,
makes us more polite and likable. And even if we're dealing with a client, it's always nice to sound polite, right? And I think our
absolutely,
learners are
Ananya.
also agreeing with us.
Yes, I can see a lot of comments pouring in. Thank you for your love, guys, and thank you for such positive feedback and engaging with our session. So moving on, Ananya, this is exactly how effective communication can change the kind of coordination we have with our colleagues, or the other people that we are working with. So grammar also plays a huge role into it. So moving on with this, let me tell you one more grammatical mistake that we all make in our written communication. Are you
Okay.
excited?
Yes, I know I am, coach, because I'm thinking maybe I also make this mistake, so I need to know this.
Yes, absolutely. We all make mistakes when it comes to English because it's not our native language. So nothing to be, stressed about it, but we can definitely improve it. So moving on to the next mistake, Ananya, when we send, mails, professional emails, there's always this one thing that we write in the end of a mail, which we are using it wrong, which can be avoided. So you'll always see people writing, I look forward to meet you, I look forward to hear from you. Rather, it should be, I look forward to meeting you, I look forward to hearing from you. So that ing, we usually, teachers, we tell our students to avoid it, but here this is one exception where you should use it. So it's not, I look forward to meet you. It's rather, I look forward to meeting you.
Okay,
I'm sure, Ananya, you'll remember it next time.
yeah,
Yes.
I was just thinking about the time I might have sent I look forward to meet you, and I'm like, okay, this is a mistake I don't have to repeat now.
Yes, absolutely, Ananya. There's nothing to be stressed about because I've seen a lot of professionals, a lot of people making the same mistake. So don't worry, you're not alone in this.
Yes. And I guess
Okay.
this is something that I've seen people do. They even say words like, I didn't knew this, or I didn't something using the second or third form of the verb, and if I'm not wrong, you're not supposed to do that too, coach, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So when we are using a did in a sentence, for example, I didn't meant that. No, I didn't mean that. So I guess this is what you're talking about, that we should be using verbs first form with did in a sentence or with did not.
Yeah,
Right? With
I
that,
have a few friends
yes.
who usually say I didn't knew. So this was the very first thing that came to my mind, and I thought, okay, this is something that we are doing wrong. And it's not just one or two people, there are many people I've come across who do this. So this is, I think, going to be very helpful to even the learners.
Yes, absolutely, Ananya. And another thing that people often do is use that only at the end of the sentence, whereas it is not needed. So when I say, yeah, I meant that only, it was
Mhm.
not needed at the first place to say that only. You will see a lot of people doing that.
Right,
So even if we say, I meant the same, it'll convey the same message, but the impact would be different, and we'll come up as a more of a natural speaker,
right.
right?
Okay, got it, coach.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and I
Yeah.
think this is just like another example that I have, and I think this is something that we do informally a lot of times, that we just add this extra na towards the end of a sentence, like listen na, let's do this na. That is, I think it's also not something which should be used in a formal setting, right?
Absolutely. Nanya, I have taught in different colleges and universities and interacted with a lot of young people, and this is something that they all do. They all have the same thing, this the same thing in common, but there are very easy ways to avoid this. So instead of saying tell na, we can say tell me, right?
Right.
And it just changes the whole perspective. So instead of saying say na, we can say something, right? And instead of saying listen na, we can say hey listen, right? So this changes the whole thing, and we look much more fluent in English. I'm sure if there are any teachers or college students watching us, if you make these mistakes or your students make this mistake, I'm sure you are going to point them out next time and tell us some better ways to express themselves.
I think we
Yeah.
have another example there. We say right, no, this is right, no. So I think we could also say this is right, and the no was not needed here.
Yes, absolutely. This is right, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we can
Instead of
just add
the
that,
no or
isn't
na,
it?
isn't it? Right.
Yes, absolutely. So no and na, both of them are not needed anymore. So let's say a no to no and na. Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Right, right.
Okay. So Ananya, let me tell you about one more grammatical mistake that we all make. So are you ready for that?
Yes, coach. I
Should I?
think this is also relatable. I'm actually excited to know more. So I'm ready for it.
All right. Okay, Ananya. So this is something that the whole nation is using in the wrong manner. When I say, I cannot cope up with the pressure, it is not actually cope up, but cope with, right? So cope up is the wrong usage. Okay.
Okay. Just feeling
I
guilty
know
of
it
the.
may seem surprising, yes, because
Yeah.
it's so common.
Right, right, right.
Yeah,
I
so it's so
I'm guilty
common.
of this mistake too, and I think everybody who's watching right now must be like, okay, this was new. I've been saying this wrong my entire life.
Yes, and even when we get to know it's the wrong usage. It usually takes us, more times to follow this and put this into practice. So
Right.
we should always make intentional efforts to make sure we are not, using the, methods that we are used to, saying the things that we are used to. So here it's less about learning and more about unlearning that we are talking about. Okay, so next time when you say I cannot cope up with the increasing workload at my workspace, you should probably be saying I cannot cope with the pressure that comes with my job or with a sales profile, right?
Okay, all right. And I just quickly want to ask everybody who's watching right now, do you also make this mistake? Are you finding this relatable? And if yes, just, drop a comment below, engage with us so that we know that, okay, we're not the only ones making the mistakes here.
Yes, I would love to see your comments, guys. If you're finding this helpful, please drop us a comment. And also, if you have any questions, please drop in so that we can interact with you. It's always nice to, engage and interact with our audiences, with our learners. That's how we make learning more, fun, relatable, and experiential,
Right.
right?
I guess when we, get to know that everybody is at the same level as we are, that also makes things, I guess, more comfortable. That, you're not the
Absolutely.
only one making that mistake, we all are.
Yeah, exactly, Ananya. I totally agree with you. So, if you
Even
have any questions, please drop in.
our learners
Okay.
are, I think, agreeing with us that they also have made these mistakes. So I guess this is just like a learning opportunity for all of us, and this will take time. I know I am going to, take a lot of time to actually start using the terms correctly, but I think practice makes perfect.
Yes, practice makes us perfect. At the same time, practice makes us unique. Because in the crowd, you are the one who is saying it in the right manner. People would actually look up to you
Right.
and they would realize, okay, this person has some exceptional communication skills, right? So I can also see some questions pouring in. So I guess one of the learners is saying, how can we avoid such kind of mistakes in our day-to-day life? All right, okay. Yeah, so there are quite a lot of things that we can do to avoid such mistakes. As I told you, that it requires practice. The one thing that you can do is this is the first step, to be aware, right? When we are aware, we try to avoid this, and our mind tells us every time we are using it wrong. Our mind just tells it knocks us from inside and tells us that hey, you're not supposed to do this. So the second step that comes in is self correction, awareness, self correction, and at the third time you make it perfect.
Right, right.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
We have a different kind of a question. So our learner is saying that they can understand English, but I think they're afraid to speak English. So what could be your advice on that?
Yes, I can understand that. Especially English not being our native language, this is a problem that happens with a lot of us. What I would rather say, this would also be, we are almost at the time of wrapping our session. So this would be one major tip I would like to give to all of my learners before we sign off today, that you should treat English not as a subject but as a language, as a mode of communication. So rather than mugging up information from different all sorts of grammar books, you should try, because you don't want to be an expert in English, right? So you don't want to be a trainer, you just want to be enhance your communication skills. That's the intent. So rather than mugging up information, grammatical rules and all of that from the books, let's try and create an environment where we get more exposure into the English language. Okay, so we should probably listen to more of the audiobooks or podcasts, read books, read stuff, content that is written in English. Okay, and also at the same time interact with people and try to speak English, because speaking is when you put things into practice, right? So, needless to say, if you need more support, you can always, refer to our live sessions at our page, Alpha Board, where we come up with some very interesting and insightful things on different topics related to English communication and soft skills. And you can also see guidance from our, expert trainers that would handhold you to, go one step ahead to improve your language skills or reach your goals to enhance your communication skills. Yeah.
Right. And I guess you can also, drop us a DM, and you can even take a free demo session with us wherein you will get an idea of, what we teach. And I guess it's always good to have a coach or a mentor with you who can, help you with these things. So, coach, I know we're towards the end of the session. Do you have any more tips for our learners before we conclude this session when it comes to making these mistakes that we talked about today?
Yes, Ananya, I think we have talked a lot about it by now, and I'm sure people have, if they have listened to us, they have actually learned quite a few things. Towards the end, first of all, I would just like to thank you all for engaging with us, for interacting with us, and for sticking with us till the end. I truly appreciate it. On a Sunday, you are taking out that time to make sure that you're learning something new on the weekend. And one thing that I would like to add towards the end is to not be too conscious of the mistakes, or to not feel underconfident because of the mistakes, and understand that the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to be better than before. Nobody is perfect. So when people point out your mistakes, instead of getting disheartened or disappointed, or embarrassing, you're feeling embarrassed that, oh my god, I made this mistake, and panicking, we should try to be a little more positive in our approach towards life, and we should thank the opportunity of learning something that we didn't know before, right? So the next time ahead, when we are in another situation, we are better than before, and we are not repeating the same mistakes, and we are not just on the same level that we were before. So one step at a time. Be comfortable, guys, be confident, take your time, relax, don't panic. And of course, if you can take some guidance from someone, if you can take some support from someone, make sure you are in a community that helps you, that understands you, that helps you become better. So that would be my tip. So don't be negative.
Right. I guess being positive is of the key essence here, because when we're learning, it's important to, stay positive and just learn from these mistakes, because I know I have also been embarrassed in many situations, but I think you have to take those embarrassments into stride, and you have to keep learning, because that's what all this process is about. You have to keep learning every day. So I guess, coach, that was a great tip from you. And I guess with that we come to the end of today's session, but I would like to remind everybody that we keep doing these sessions every week. So just stay updated with us, follow us, and you're going to learn so many new things almost on a daily basis. So if you feel that the mistakes that we talked about today are the ones that you do, then you should definitely follow Alpha Board, and you're going to learn something new every day. And with that, coach, thank you so much for this amazing session. I learned so many things. I'm sure everybody who's even dropping a comment right now have learned something new today too. So thank you so much for teaching us all this on a Saturday evening.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Ananya. Thank you to the learners for being here. So I would just like to quote one of the comments that has someone has said: "Learn, unlearn, and relearn." So that's a good takeaway, a good way to wrap up our session today. Thank you, Ananya.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
coach.
everyone, for joining us.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.